Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's masterclass, How to Invest in Real Estate with Less Than $100. My name is Janelle Rock, and I am the CEO and founder of Generation Wealth, which is a company that works with both youth and adults to help them understand and implement the principles around financial independence, all with the goal of course, building and maintaining generational wealth. Very excited about today's class. I am looking forward to working with you this afternoon to show you how you can start investing in real estate with less than $100. Yes, it is possible. I've been doing it for quite some time, and it's really an amazing way and different way to invest your money. So I did want to take just a few moments at the beginning of our class to tell you a bit about our Generation Wealth community. And this community is an amazing space for you to network with other like-minded individuals in order to build your net worth. Generation wealth building, or wealth building in general, is really something that is interdependent. And the more you're able to build and widen your network, of course, the better it is for the wealth building process. So I want to share a bit more with you about our community, how it works, and then we'll jump right into our class.
Hi, my name is Janelle Rock, and I am the CEO and founder of Generation Wealth. When I started this company in 2019, I envisioned it to be a place where people across all generations would come together to learn, grow, network, and invest in order to establish lasting wealth for themselves and their families for generations to come. It's so exciting to now see that vision become a reality with the Generation Wealth digital community. This community is a space designed for the kind of learning and networking that will help you grow your net worth. The best part is that you can take this community wherever you go. When you download our user-friendly app on your iPhone or Android, you'll be able to access classes, self-paced courses, as well as curated virtual events on a variety of financial topics. You can learn at your own pace, and you can leverage the knowledge of experts within the community to get your questions answered, as well as discuss topics of interest with other members virtually or in person at one of our local meetups. Our community would be incomplete without a space especially designed for kids. We believe that when fundamental personal finance skills are taught early in life, children will grow up to make more responsible financial decisions as adults. The GW Kids community is designed for children from 8 to 13 years old, where they have access to age-appropriate classes, games, videos, and events on topics like budgeting, saving, investing, and entrepreneurship. We invite you to become a part of the global Generation Wealth family, where your network helps you grow your net worth.
Okay, fantastic. So if you are interested in joining our community, we have a flash sale going on, 72 hours only. You can get a 30-day free trial, so you can actually get in there and learn a bit about how the community works, as well as $50 off any annual membership. And so this particular offer is good for 72 hours. So I invite you to join our community and come in and learn and grow with us. So let's get started. We're going to just switch over here. Okay. So, yes, so we're going to talk about today how to invest in real estate with less than $100. And we're actually going to talk about how to do this in terms of investing in a very special type of it's like I would say like a stock. It's called a real estate investment trust. So if you haven't heard about that before, we're going to actually talk about what exactly are real estate investment trusts. There, instead of actually saying that, it's a mouthful, so we call them REITs for short. How do we select REITs that can help us meet our passive income goals? And what should we look for when researching which REIT to invest in? And then I'm going to show you a little investing hack at the end of our chat today in trying to answer this question. So how could you invest in Amazon, which is over $3,000 a share, right? Without having to actually pay that amount. And I'm going to show you how you can actually do that using this form of investing. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to start with an overview of what REITs are. Okay, so we're going to start with a quick video to give you a highlight or a little overview of what they are and how they work.
REITs, or real estate investment trusts, were created by Congress in 1960 to give all Americans the opportunity to benefit from investing in income-producing real estate. REITs allow anyone to own or finance properties. In the same way shareholders benefit by owning stocks in other corporations, the stockholders of a REIT earn a share of the income produced through real estate investment without actually having to go out and buy or finance property. This video provides some insight into what REITs are and how they work. The REIT industry has a diverse profile, which offers many benefits. REITs often are classified in one of two categories: equity REITs or mortgage REITs. Equity REITs own a wide range of property types, including offices, shopping centers, hotels, apartments, and much more. Equity REITs derive most of their revenue from rent on those properties. Mortgage REITs may finance both residential and commercial properties. Mortgage REITs get most of their revenue from interest earned on their investments in mortgages or mortgage-backed securities. In addition, REITs may be publicly registered with the SEC and have their shares listed and traded on major stock exchanges. Or they may be publicly registered with the SEC, but not have their shares listed or traded on major stock exchanges. Or they may be private companies, not registered with the SEC and not listed or traded on a stock exchange. Regardless of the type, REITs operate under a specific set of rules established by Congress. A REIT is an entity that is modeled after mutual funds, is treated by the Internal Revenue Code as a corporation, must be widely held by shareholders, must primarily own or finance real estate, and must own its real estate with a long-term investment horizon. The IRS implements the REIT rules and oversees what qualifies as a REIT. The Internal Revenue Code requires a REIT to adhere to the following essential rules. At least 75% of the corporation's income must be earned from real estate as rent, real estate interest, or from the sales of real estate assets. At least 75% of the corporation's assets must be real estate assets. At least 95% of income must be passive. REITs are required to distribute at least 90% of taxable income annually to shareholders as taxable dividends. In other words, a REIT cannot retain its earnings. Like a mutual fund, a REIT receives a dividends paid deduction, so no tax is paid at the entity level if 100% of income is distributed. REIT shareholders pay taxes on dividends at ordinary rates versus the lower qualified rate. The top ordinary rate is now 39.6%. Over time, REITs and the rules and regulations that govern them have evolved to meet the changing needs of the real estate industry and the broader economy. But throughout that process, REITs have remained true to the mission laid out by Congress in 1960. to make the benefits of income-producing real estate accessible to anyone and everyone. And that's still how they work today.
Okay, so we got a little overview about REITs and what they are. So these are some key takeaways. So REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. And REITs were created by Congress in 1960 to give Americans the opportunity to benefit from income producing real estate. So if you've been looking at real estate, you've been wanting to invest in it, but you don't want the headache of being a landlord, of having to worry about property taxes, having to worry about tenant issues, all of the responsibilities that come along with owning a passive income property. REITs are a great way for you to benefit from the passive income of real estate without having to deal with all those headaches. So there are two types of REITs. You have equity REITs and mortgage REITs. So equity REITs earn revenue from rent, and mortgage REITs earn revenue from interest earned from investments on mortgages or mortgage-backed securities. So 75% of REITs corporation income has to come from rent, real estate interest, or sales of real estate tax. 75% of the assets must be real estate assets. What's great is that 95% of the income must be passive, and the REIT has to pay at least 90% of the taxable dividends to shareholders. So the whole purpose of creating, as you can see, all of most of that income that's being collected is then passed on to the shareholders. And the shareholders pay a tax dividends at the rate of about 39%. So that's an overview for you. If you want to take a screenshot of this slide, we'll provide the recording so you can kind of come back and look at and listen to this again. But these are some of the key takeaways in terms of what REITs are and the various characteristics that go along with in order to even qualify as a REIT. So there are different types of REITs. I'm going to talk today mostly about equity REITs. And you can find REITs on the New York Stock Exchange, just like if you were going to buy shares of stock of Walmart or Target or Apple, you can actually buy REITs, you become a shareholder of the REIT on the New York Stock Exchange. And there are different types of REITs. So we have office REITs, hospitality, healthcare, industrial, retail, data centers, and believe it or not, billboards. So if you've been ever driving down the highway and you see an ad and maybe you see the name like Simon under there, that's actually the name of a REIT. And so there's REITs that actually own the billboard signs that you see people, the companies pay to have their company advertised on the billboard, and then the money collected is actually collected by a REIT. And then that income is then paid out to shareholders, right? You have data centers. So when you take tons of pictures, or you have lots of information on your phone, and that is stored in the cloud, right? Where is that cloud? So that cloud actually exists in data centers, right? And these are large buildings that have huge computers and stores tons and tons of data, this kind of cloud storage. And so there needs to be a space for those types of computers, right? And so data centers actually house these mega computers. So retail, malls, most malls are owned by REITs. Industrial spaces, hospitals, a lot of hospitals are REITs. Hospitality, hotels, Hilton, Hyatt, these not like brand name hotels that you might have stayed at and didn't know that they were part of a real estate investment trust. And also office buildings. So these are some examples of the different types of equity REITs. So what I want to talk to you about now is a process in which you can use to select real estate investment trusts that can help you meet your passive income goals. Okay. So I don't know exactly what those goals are, right? But I know that when I work with my clients, I first take a look at what their debt to income ratio is, and we kind of work out that part. And once we kind of get a good handle on budgeting and making sure that they're getting out of debt, it's not just getting out of debt and staying out of debt, but also being able to come up with a plan to generate enough passive income to first be able to cover your monthly expenses. That's stage one. I would say that's stage one of financial independence. So once we figure out how to get out of debt and all of that, the next step is like, okay, so yeah, you may want to retire when you're 65, but how nice would it be if you were able to develop a passive income plan so that at the age of 45, you have enough passive income to cover your monthly expenses, so that God forbid something did happen, you know that you have a backup plan at work, so that you are not in a place where God forbid you lose your job. And of course, you have your emergency income, 6 to 9 months of that, but you also know that you don't have to make decisions based on money. You can make decisions based on what you need and what you want. And having a passive income plan to support that is very helpful. And so when I work with clients, and I coach clients, we also look, we look at REITs as an option, of a way to invest money so that they're setting up passive income to be received every month or every quarter through their real estate investment trust investments. So what are some of the criteria that you need to follow when researching REITs? So first thing, you want to look at a REIT that is going to provide you with a dividend yield of anywhere between 3 to 9%. I usually try to look for dividends at about 4 or 5%, because you want to make sure that you are earning at least a 4 to 5% range, because you want to make sure that you are investing your money in an asset that is going to exceed the rate of inflation. Okay. And we see that this particular year that's passed, inflation was like super high. But on average, we're looking at, inflation going up, inflation rate being about 2 to 3% per year. Okay. So you want to be able to earn more than that in your dividends. You also want to look at the size of the REITs. Okay. So REITs that have 100 or more properties, they tend to be safer than those REITs that maybe have less than 50. Why is that? Because let's say that the trust ends up losing 3 or 4 of their buildings, or 5. It is going to have a less of a greater impact if the REIT has larger holdings, right? If they lose 5, if a REIT with 50 properties lose 5, they've already lost 10% of their holdings. And so that could have a negative impact on the dividends they're able to pay out on a monthly, or if it's a REIT that pays out quarterly basis. Okay. So the size, the yield is very important. So in terms of your passive income building process with REITs, I would say choose a REIT within your budget. And there's so many, right? There are REITs that you can get for as little as $20, sometimes even less than $20, up to $100 or even more. And it's important to choose one that's within your budget, because you need to be consistent. Okay. We'll get to that in a moment. You want to diversify the different types of REITs that you invest in. So maybe you own some REITs in healthcare, or maybe you want to own REITs that have data centers or industrial spaces. So you want to diversify the different types of REITs. We know that diversification is a very good way to protect your investments overall. Create a projected income plan that reflects how much money you want to collect in dividends from your REITs every single month. Now, this is really important, right? So I was talking about when I work with my clients and I'm coaching them, we come up with that passive income plan, that first stage of passive income where you have enough passive income coming in to cover your monthly bills. So this is really important, because if you don't have a clear plan of how much you want to collect, then maybe you'll buy one share this month and then you won't buy another share for another 6 months. And then you're really not creating any traction, right? So you need to begin with the end in mind. Actually, next month, we have a really great boot camp coming up. It's called Dividend Investment Boot Camp, where I'm actually going to be walking individuals through the process of creating that plan and then thinking about how much money they want to collect in passive income and how many shares of stock they need to own in, whether it's REITs, ETFs, individual stocks, and kind of working with clients to put that plan together. Very important. You need to be consistent in the shares that you are buying. So if you are going to buy 5 shares a month, then you want to make sure that you're choosing a REIT where you can be consistent in buying 5 shares a month. It's really important to be consistent because little by little, we know the power of compound interest and how that works, right? And so what I say is don't overextend yourself. If you can only start with 1 share a month, then start with 1 share a month and be consistent. But don't overextend yourself in a place where you're able to start with 10 shares a month and then the next month you can't because you had something that happened and you can't afford it. So you want to make sure that you can be consistent. And I would say increase the amount of shares you buy whenever your income increases. So if you have a raise and you're able to invest more, take the extra money and invest it so that you can speed up your process to meeting that passive income goal. Okay, so those are some tips for you in terms of how you can invest in REITs and be successful. And of course, it's really making sure that you stay within your budget in terms of the type of REITs that you choose, as well as being consistent. So when you're doing a Google search, here's what you should look for when researching. So these are some sites that you can use to actually help you in your research journey. So REIT information, that video that we actually watched was created by this organization, realestateinvestmenttrust.com. So I would say definitely this is a really great resource. REIT.com. You can look up REITs. You can find out information, virtually almost anything about them. News. So you want to follow the news in terms of what's going on around that current REIT, that particular REIT. So wallstreetjournal.com. And of course, Yahoo Finance is also a great resource for that as well, because it offers you the news as well as stock graphs and statistics. Now, here are some guiding questions to help you on your research process. So 1, how many properties does the REIT own, right? So we talked about that. 100 plus is a bit safer than if you were looking at one that owned less than 50. How much does it cost per share, right? So how much does it cost to own this REIT per share? Is it $100 a share? Is it $20 a share? How much do they pay in dividends? And how often do they pay dividends? So I actually own REITs where I get paid every month. And I also have a REIT where I get paid every quarter. So 4 times a year. So I have REITs where I get paid 12 months, 12 times a year, and others where I get 4 times a year. So how often do they pay dividends? What's the long-term performance of this REIT? So, one of the REITs that I invest in has been paying out dividends consistently for over 25 years. So that's an actual REIT, which would be called a dividend aristocrat. Okay, when a company is able to pay out dividends consistently and increasing over the course of 25 years, they get to that 25-year mark. They're called a dividend aristocrat. And then you have a few companies where they're known as dividend kings. They've been paying out dividends, increasing dividends every year for 50 years. But this particular REIT is actually a dividend aristocrat. It pays dividends every single month, and it's been doing that for 25 years. And then also, what are the recent news and headlines, if any, on the company? And so you can use Yahoo Finance and Wall Street Journal for that information. One thing I will say is that you do not want to fall into analysis paralysis. This really should not take you days and days to do, okay? 20 to 30 minutes at the most, okay? So these are the guiding questions you want to use to help you as you go on and you start to invest in these REITs. So I want to share with you an investing hack. So this question, how can we invest in Amazon without having to pay $3,000 a share? So I want to show you a particular company. It's a REIT where you can actually invest in Amazon through kind of like a back door, right? So how does this work? So Amazon, right? Tech company provides a platform where we can buy almost anything online and get it in 2 days or less if you're a Prime member. The share price is over $3,000 a share, and Amazon currently does not pay out dividends, okay? So Amazon, whatever you want, you can get it, right? So the question is, where do all of these things come from? When you order them from Amazon, you get them in 2 days or less. Where are these products being housed? Where are they being stored? And there is a REIT, and their name is Stag Industrial. And it's focused on the acquisition of operation of single tenant industrial properties throughout the United States. So what does that mean? STAG is probably the number one provider of warehouses to Amazon around the United States. So wherever you see an Amazon warehouse, chances are Amazon is renting that space from STAG. Okay. So STAG share price is about, actually, it's a little bit more now. I think they've really been like super performing since the holidays. So they're like probably like $45 a share, which is still like crazy affordable. Okay. And it's so crazy because even throughout the pandemic, you see like Amazon was like performing really, really well. And so was STAG. It was like never in the red. And the dividend payout is about 12 cents every month, which turns out to be $1.44 per share every single year, right? So for every share that you own, you're going to get about $1.44 per share annually. And they pay dividends every single month. And so here you can invest and you can benefit from the success of Amazon, but not having to necessarily shell out $3,000 for one share of stock, right? Where you can have, and not only that, you benefit from the growth of the stock. When I started investing in STAG, it was like 20 something dollars per share. Now it's like 40 something dollars a share. So I'm benefiting from the growth of the stock. I'm also benefiting from the dividend payout, which Amazon does not pay. And I'm getting that dividend payout every single month. Okay. So these are some, really interesting ways to think about how to invest in companies in a way that it may not be as straightforward. So it's like, okay, I may not want to invest in Amazon, and I do own shares of Amazon as well, but just saying that there's so many different ways to benefit from a company without necessarily straight on investment. So in this particular case, here's how you can leverage this REIT. You can use this REIT to benefit from the success of this particular tech company, Amazon. So I hope that this was beneficial and informative for you. And you see now that you don't have to be a landlord to successfully invest in real estate. I want to share with you information in terms of how you can stay connected. We have a free resource library where you can access on our website, generationwealth.org. We have a Facebook group, and of course, you can follow me on Instagram, and you can follow me on Instagram as well as on Facebook. So that is all for this afternoon. Just want to make sure that, okay, fantastic. So that's all for this afternoon. I want to thank you for joining us for this session. I also want to invite you to go ahead and, sign up for our community. You get 30 days free in the community, so you can kind of poke around and see what's going on, and, just kind of learn from all of the materials that we have in that space, and also the individuals that are there. We have a special offer if you do want to sign up for the community and actually be an annual member. You'll actually get $50 off of that membership. So that's at generationwealth.net for our community. If you would like to sign up for our free resource library, you can go to generationwealth.org. And feel free. You can also shoot me an email if you have any questions. You can email me at janelle@generationwealth.org. Okay. So thank you so very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and looking forward to seeing you again at another one of our master classes. Bye-bye.